Hello there. So, as you can see, a brand new Picard trailer dropped yesterday. As much grief as I give Modern Trek for being trash since Jar Jar Abrams took over, this one didn't suck and actually has me getting excited for Picard. I picked this visual specifically because I love this ship, and I'll get more on that later. So let's jump right into this. We start off with Picard in 10 forward. It's 10 forward for the Enterprise D. Absolutely love seeing Picard back in a Galaxy-class starship. Please, please, please tell me it's not a flashback to the Enterprise, but is in fact the USS Challenger, captained by one Captain Geordi LaForge. That would be epic. I would really like to see that included on screen as official canon. Mostly because I love Geordi. It would be nice to see his whole arc be starting off as like an ensign on his second assignment on the Enterprise D, because he was on the Victory before that, and then he becomes chief engineer and eventually become captain. That would be really good. I'd really like that. This is probably, however, a flashback to the best of both worlds, because it looks like it's Mars and possibly the Mars defense perimeter in there. There's lots of Borg in this. And to be fair, the Borg has a bit overdone between TNG and Voyager, where they've lost a lot of their bite. But I love the idea of bringing them in, just as an idea of old man Picard being haunted by his past and getting PTSD from some of the things he was forced to do as Locutus, and trying to make amends for what he did in the past, even though it wasn't his fault. The TNG era never really touched up on that except in 3 specific instances. The episode directly following TNG's Best of Both Worlds, when Picard goes home and chills with his family. He's fighting with his brother Robert the whole time, and then they end up in an actual fist fight wrestling in the mud. And he breaks down. It's very moving. Speaks to a lot of how siblings interact with each other. Give each other grief, call each other names, sometimes even fight, but in the day we still love them. And when they go through something as traumatic as what Picard went through, we're there for them, because at the end of the day they're family. You may even call them names, but it's out of love, because you love them. And it's nice to see Robert and Jean-Luc make up after that. Next one up is Deep Space Nine pilot Emissary. Sisko is being briefed by Picard in the Enterprise D conference lounge, when Picard notices that Sisko is very uncomfortable, it's like he knows him. So he asks him, "I'm sorry, have we met before?" And Sisko replies, "Yes, sir, we met in battle. I was on the Saratoga, Wolf 359. And Picard basically goes white as a ghost and awkwardly moves the conversation forward. Oh, I see. I love the scene. It's just very brief, very subtle. Now, they do make up at the end, but I love this is because it's basically the only time we see Picard meet someone who either survived Wolf 359 or was a relative of someone who didn't survive Wolf 359. So it's really the only scene where we see how other people in the Federation may think of Picard. The next one is First Contact, the movie, not the episode. This is action film Picard, which on his own doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but if you remember what Picard went through in The Best of Both Worlds and how he chose not to genocide the Borg and Iborg, it makes sense, because then the Borg come back to successfully erase the Federation through time travel. In that context, suddenly, action movie Picard's PTSD starts making a whole heck of a lot of sense. I'm very curious where they go with this over just a few lines. This could make some really great storytelling, especially if Picard's feel guilt for what his clone Shinzon did in Nemesis. It's usually symbolic to have the guy Shinzon is cloned from to come to Star Empire's need in its greatest hour. I absolutely despise the destruction of Romulus, but I'm excited to see where they go with this. As well, PTSD is a very big issue these days, with PTSD with soldiers, police officers, emergency workers of any kind, and how it messes up their lives and makes it difficult going forward. So there's a lot of things they can do here to explore themes of PTSD and, how you can live with that going forward. Really hoping that's a big part, because that could be make it a big thing. So it's like, hey, here's a Star Trek that's not shoot 'em up action schlock. There's actually a message here and themes we're exploring. Moving on, Jeri Ryan is here as 7 of 9. Her personality is completely different than it was in Voyager. Doesn't seem like a Sin character at all, and honestly, that's a good thing. 7 is always trying to regain the humanity she lost by being assimilated into the Borg Collective when she was young. This is 20 years after Nemesis, almost 30 years since she appeared on Voyager. And it's good to see in the time frame she succeeded in her task to regain her humanity. You don't need to do more than a couple throwaway lines to set that up, but even if they don't, it still works, and it makes a lot of sense. A lot can happen in 20 years. People change a lot over 20 years. And it's good to see that she wasn't frozen in time. Her character's progress actually makes sense. Unlike a certain Space Wizard and a certain other franchise that shall remain nameless. Sorry, clearing my throat. I don't know who the guy in the hospital bed is. Very curious to learn more. I checked out Star Trek subreddit, but didn't see much about him, so I'll have to wait and see next month like a normal person. But it seems like he's probably important. It looks like we're getting some new Romulan ship designs. There's some very brief glances of what I assume are Romulan ships with Borg ships. Given the context of the other trailers, I suspect these Borg are the ones that are disconnected from the collective after I Borg had not seen since Descent Parts 1 and 2 in TNG's Season 7 opener. These are Hugh's bros, and we know Jonathan Del Arco is in this as Hugh. I believe these guys are the Borg Cooperative in Star Trek Online. 7 of 9 works with them a lot. It's really good to see Old Man Riker, but Old Man Riker shouldn't be rocking the farm. There should be Admiral Riker digging up the Titan to help his friend. I suspect I'm going to be let down on that. Picard visits Riker just to say, "Sorry bro, I can't help you. Please don't prove me right." Downside in this trailer, like the rest, goes above and beyond to hide the fact that the main story of the show is Picard helping unlock the mystery behind a young girl with a ragtag band of Firefly-like ruffians, like he did in Logan. Like the show Firefly, and a billion other shows and movies right now about girls that have mysteries behind them need to be unlocked, like Amy Pond in Doctor Who, or Clara in Doctor Who. That could go on. At the end of the day, as excited as I am, it is still Crimson Trek, so I have low expectations, but I'm really hoping Michael Chabon, as the showrunner for Season 1, knocks this out of the park. One thing I'm really super excited, which is why the visual I chose to use here, is the 23rd century Romulan bird of prey. We haven't seen the ship since the original series. She looks beautiful, and I can't wait to see the modern take on the pride of the Romulan Star Empire. I find it strangely humorous that after the Star Trek Discovery went out of its way to redesign every single thing it possibly could from the original series era, that they let this one 23rd century design almost completely intact. We don't get a good look at it, but it looks to be largely exactly the same design as TOS, with just different nacelles. The body of the ship seems to be the same, and they didn't do radical redesigns like they did for everything else. I can live with that. I can live with it. We don't see it as a Raptor logo on the bottom, but I suspect we'll find out in January. On the plus side, this means we'll be getting another version of the Romulan bird of prey in Star Trek Online that I may actually be able to afford this time. I wish it would let you use lockbox ships as account unlocks. All they have the TOS Connie, so being able to use that Romulan character without spending another $100 on keys would be really great. One thing this also has me excited for is the fact that the Romulan story arc in Star Trek Online starts off with the Romulan colony world being attacked, I think, by the Alachi, and then your character and his friends escape on an old Romulan 23rd century bird of prey, Dillis class like this one here, and you end up in a few firefights while you're trying to escape. It's an old obsolete ship with old technology that was refers as a refugee ship or something. I can't remember the storyline, but I'm getting flashbacks to that mission watching this, so I'm very curious to see where they go with this. In closing, although I despise Discovery and don't like anything Alex Kurtzman has ever done, especially with Star Trek, I'm getting more excited for the show by the day. I'll have issue 2 of the Countdown comic in a few days to come out, so I may do some videos of that and how it compares to the old Countdown comic. I am actually looking forward to this. I'm getting a little more excited. I started off not being excited for this, but now I'm excited for it. Have fun. I'll see y'all out there somewhere. And take care and have a wonderful, good weekend. Toodoo.